Complication. One. Hello everyone and welcome to the Iron Warrior Cosplay Q&A with me, Iron Warrior Cosplay. As I say every single stream, we aren't live until we're live. How is everyone? How is everyone in chat? I hope we're all doing very well. Some familiar names have come up in some recent follows. We've had Tack Attack. And also Miss T Cosplay. Yeah, it's great. Some familiar names. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest today is the absolutely wonderful Little Vamp of Heroes of Geek. How are you, Sash? You're doing great.
Hello. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing very, very well, honestly. Even with the lockdown stuff happening, this year has been a bit better, but, the first lockdown was pretty bad. How are you faring up with the whole lockdown situation going on?
Do you know what? I'm kind of just over it now. I don't watch the news about it. My mum just tells me if there's any changes, and I just do what I'm told. I just stay in until they say, "Oh, everything's fine and you're safe and everything." So yeah, I've been working since the beginning. I haven't stopped, but from home. And initially that was sucky. I didn't like it, but now I'm really accustomed to it. So now I'm like, oh my gosh, when they go back, I am totally not going back. I'm just going to stay
But no,
fine.
I tell you what, I'm the same when it comes to the news. I've given up watching on the news now. I just whatever.
Oh, no.
I watch the updates from Cardiff, and that's about it. I just watch those updates, and then that's about it. That's all I watch.
It'll drive you crazy otherwise.
Yeah, exactly. I need the updates of what's happening, so that's why I watch that. But as the actual news, I don't bother anymore. It just gets people down. But we're not here to talk about COVID. We're here to talk about cosplay, but not only specifically cosplay. We're here to talk about you and cosplay.
Oh.
So my first question to you, Little Vamp, is how long have you been cosplaying, my dear?
Do you know what? I actually worked out. It's been a lot longer than I thought. I've been cosplaying since 2006. So what's that? That's 14 years.
That's a hell of a stint. I'm not gonna lie, because I've been cosplaying since I was 16, so that's pretty. Wow, that's a hell of a stint. You've been at it a while.
Yeah, but I didn't really start taking it seriously till probably before I met Van, really. Because I didn't really know what it was. I just knew that I was a super geek and I really loved my fandoms and stuff. And then I started researching it, and I went to my first con in London. It was called Kapow. And
Kapow? I've not actually heard of that one.
It was actually like a hidden gem, and I wish to goodness they kept it running, because we were right by the actors that play Thor and Loki.
Nice.
And oh man, it was so cool. And my brother was there. He was quite young, and he was just transforming his transformer. And Loki just kept looking at this transformer as if he wanted this transformer. And they were saying, because at the time Thor hadn't come out or anything, it was to promote it and everything. And they were saying, oh yeah, we're gonna have the helmet and everything, and it's super heavy and all this. And Thor just kept on doing that to him, poking him. It was amazing. It's really, really good. But it didn't last. They had some really good guests, and it wasn't that expensive, but it was like a one-time thing. I don't know.
But Kapow, that's an interesting one. I've not heard of Kapow myself.
Yeah, because they had Jonathan Ross hosting it as well.
Holy crap!
And they did a quiz thing, and I didn't enter it because I was like, oh, I don't know. And Stephen Moffat was there, and there was lots of different panels, Doctor Who panels, new games coming out, and it was really cool. And my brother got me in trouble because he was like, I'm going to get you to ask a question to Stephen Moffat. And I was like, don't, because I haven't got one, and he's being really pompous right now, so don't. And then they came along with a microphone. I was like, I haven't got anything to say right now. And I just went bright red, and I just put my head down on the table, dressed as Suki Stackhouse from True Blood. That was my first cosplay that I did.
Oh, that's awesome. I love the. Literally, one of my questions was going to be, what was your first cosplay? And it was
Yeah.
what did you say it was?
So, Suki, her name is Suki Stackhouse from True Blood.
From
So,
True Blood.
they're novels, but it was also turned into a TV show. And basically, she's irresistible to vampires, and she doesn't understand why. And yeah, it gets a bit weird, but it's really good. And it sort of covers the themes of like prejudice and things like that. And the way that they did the promo stuff, it was like come out of the coffin and things like that.
That's great.
It was so awesome. And I had this little promo tin, and it had like emergency plasters for vampire bite marks, so you're not caught short. Oh, it was so cool. It was really clever.
I love
But
that.
then it just got a bit silly. But it's a really good show. First couple of seasons.
I think I actually watched 1 or 2 episodes of that, and I just couldn't get into it. I think it was because like I've never been into the whole vampire thing personally. Don't get me wrong though. Well, don't get me wrong. I like Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Oh gosh, yeah, who doesn't?
That's like a classic. But like like Blade and things like that. I've never really been into those kind of films. Like anything. It's weird. I like the old style vampire movies, like the really old classics, like the genuinely vintage kind of. Like the new stuff, like Twilight, for example, just did not do it for me.
Yeah, I know. Don't talk to me about Twilight. There was things I've seen whilst watching that, which I never want to see ever again. I was just like, what is happening?
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh my. Yeah. But my favourite vampire film. Do you like Interview with the Vampire?
I haven't watched an Interview with the Vampire.
Oh my God,
You're probably going to tell me off now for not watching. I haven't watched.
Yeah, I am. I'm totally telling you off.
I got told off pre-stream. Because I haven't watched Birds of Prey, and I was just like, it's because I watched like the awful. Oh, again, I don't know what it is. I keep forgetting its name. What's it called? What's the film they did before?
Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad. I watched that and I was like, this is awful. And I just thought like it'll be the same kind of stuff, and I was just like, nah.
No,
and it wasn't.
Completely different. Lots of gory blood, swearing, this, that, the other, and it's just mental. It's like, I don't know, you're on acid or something. This is really good. I don't condone that, kids. I've never done drugs in my life.
I wouldn't know that.
No.
I like that. So obviously, you told us how long you're cosplaying or what you cosplays first, but why do you cosplay? What is your reason for cosplaying? Is it anything specific, or is it just I like dressing up? It's just like
mine. I think it's quite specific. It has to be a character which I really connect with, that I know a lot about. If I see a new character and I'm instantly drawn to them, if I don't know anything about them and I want to cosplay, I will literally go and get like all the comics, all the source material, all everything. I'm one of those cosplayers that detail is everything. And I know that's not everybody's bag, and people like to put spins on it, and that's totally fine. But me, I have to, like, I will freeze frame trailers so I can see exact details of things. Like I know it doesn't look like a cosplay, but this is one of Margot Robbie's Harley costumes in Birds of Prey, and the crying hearts that you can see are the actual hearts that Margot's got on hers. I hunted down the person that designed them, and I was like, can I please have some, please? And I've got a certificate confirming that it's real and everything. So, yeah. And
I like that because like pre-stream you were showing me the picture of her actually in the film, sat down wearing exactly the same thing, and it is pretty on point. It is pretty on point. Also, by the way, we have had our first hydrate of the night. So, hail hydrate! It is time for us to take a drink.
Let's have a drink.
Oh, I tell you what, sitting down and talking does give you one hell of a thirst, I tell you.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. We have a good amount of people chatting in the chat. Remember now, guys, if you have any questions that you would like to ask the lovely little Vamp, please do put them in the chat, and my moderators will send them to me here on my phone. I have my stream chat open with my moderators here, so I can keep track of what's happening on stream as well. You said like you've been cosplaying a fair chunk of time. You've been cosplaying a while. Would you say cosplay is something you'd see yourself doing in 10 years' time?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Because one of the biggest things for me is the community that it brings. And like with everything, there can be toxic elements of it. But what I think is when you start seeing that happening, be it online with trolling and things like that or whatever, just remove yourself from that situation and just go to the bits that you enjoy. So like when we go to cons now, myself and Van Wolf of Heroes of Geek, we tend to be like equality ambassadors. So what that entails is just sort of making sure that everybody's having a good time and there's no access issues, there's no discrimination going on, because that's my background and I know all the legislation and everything. And I basically don't take any mess in if I can see that something is not right, basically. And I met a little girl in, oh gosh, where was it? I want to say Walker Stalker. And she was in a wheelchair and she was very, very shy, but I kept seeing her looking over to me. And I went over and had a chat and spoke to her mum. She was with her mum. They'd flown all the way from Scotland and they're having a great time because all the stars were there and stuff. And I said, have you ever considered cosplay? And she said, yeah, I'd love to, but I can't because I'm in a wheelchair. And I went, oh, love, no, look at me. And she was like, oh my gosh, you were so right. And I was like, yeah, see? So then when there was Walkstalk then the following year, she literally video called me and I was like, girl, you said you were going to cosplay. Where the heck are you? And she said, I've got a new boyfriend. I'm in bed. I was like, oh, okay, all right. I'll leave you to that.
It's like, I'll leave you to that. Bye.
Yes.
I like that. You were saying, obviously, like with access issues and that young girl was in a wheelchair, like yourself. Obviously, for those in chat who obviously don't know, Little Vamp obviously is you're a wheelchair user. You're sort of.
I am indeed.
That is.
Yeah, I've got. There you go. You can see my belt. You can see my chair. I've got a motorized wheelchair. Right now, I'm raised up. Ordinarily, I'm teeny tiny. I'm 4'8", so you wouldn't be able to see it.
It's nice, dutty. I like it.
So I'm like a giant right now. It's so funny. And if you try and go along like this with the wheelchair, you get what I call the danger turtle. And it is a little turtle appear. It is. It's a little turtle, and it just goes. And it basically limits your movement. It's basically saying it's not safe for you to be this high and moving around. It limits you. But I just ignore it and I just carry on with the danger turtle going along.
Danger turtle. So we need to get some danger turtles up in the chat here. We need to get some danger turtles up in the chat. I love that.
Danger turtles.
We have a question from the chat, but we've also just had a hydrate. So if you want to hydrate, I'll read out one of the questions for you now. We've had one from quite a regular on the stream called Caxor, who is also a Space Marine cosplayer.
Mm-hmm.
And his question is to Little Vamp. Do you like werewolves like pets?
Do I like werewolves like pets?
Yeah. Do you like werewolves? Like pets.
Yeah, I don't mind a werewolf, but like there are sworn enemies as a vampire. But my partner is called Van Wolf. And, so I kind of gotta like werewolves.
Opposites attract.
I don't have any beef with them. If they don't have any beef with me, it's all good.
I like that. Also, thank you so much for the hydrate. That was very, very nice. I was very thirsty there. Tack Attack Cosplay says, from one True Blood fan to another, is Vamp Team Bill or Team Eric?
Oh,
Oof.
Team Bill all the way. Team Bill all the way. However,
Team Bill all the
blame
way.
my mum for my Funko Pop obsession. My very first pop was flipping Eric Northman, and I'm Team Bill. And I was like, oh, thank you, Mum, but I'm Team Bill. So, yeah.
I do see your vast collection, and only, as you said pre-stream, a very small part of your Funko Pop collection behind you there. I don't know if you actually saw recently, but the lovely Lynette Cosplay made me a Funko Pop of me in my workshop with my apron and stuff.
That's amazing.
I loved that.
The effort that went into that with the box and everything. Oh my gosh!
It's got a tiny tub of Thompson's 10-year roof seal. It's got a tiny hammer.
Oh,
It's amazing. Capsaw has just discovered my new channel points, my new Iron Coin channel points thing, which is for Krieg, and I got this idea from the lovely Nerd Princess, where she just puts on a hat while streaming. So this is my Krieg helmet for my upcoming cosplay. So
very nice.
Pop that on. So for Krieg, I think Ranger of Krieg in the chat would very much appreciate this. So I thought you might like that. So obviously your as you said your team. What team did you say? Team Bill, was it?
Team Bill,
Team Bill. I like that. Team Bill. Any particular reason?
Because he was hot.
Is that literally the reason? Is that the only reason?
No, like he's a gentleman, you know. He like woos Suki and all that, but then he gets a bit like the bloodlust takes over type thing. Whereas Eric is really cool. He's kind of the rock star of the vampire world in True Blood sort of mythology type thing, and he just does what he wants. But it's like they're rivals, and one episode they go shopping. Oh my goodness, is hysterical because they're used to like old-fashioned clothes, whereas Eric wears like leather pants and all that sort of stuff, and they just come out with the most ridiculous. I've never seen outfits like it. I'm like, what the heck is this? And then they cut in each other's hair, and I'm like, what is happening? What is this episode? Yeah, that's quite funny, and they argue all the time. Then the fangs come out, and yeah, that's pretty sweet. Anything with blood.
Get your fangs out. I like that. Get your fangs out. We have well, it's not so much a question as it's more of a direct thing to you, which is Misty Cosplay. Tell Little Vamp that Team Bill is the best. Let's not start this in the in the Iron Warrior Cosplay Q&A. Let's not just get a back and forward of no Team Bill, no Team Eric, no Team Bill, no Team Eric. When it comes to like the I say building, when it comes to the putting together of a cosplay for you, then like, you know, when you're doing a Harley Quinn or something like that, do you prefer to work alone, or do you prefer to work like with others as like a group effort, if you will?
It is always me and Van, because I've only got full use of my one hand. I can't really do much of the crafty stuff, but like for my Laura cosplay in Logan, I came up with the recipe for like mud, because I didn't want to put mud all over me. I thought that would just stink and be gross. We just, I don't know, we just bounce off each other and come up with ideas. I might not be able to do it physically, but Van can, so it's all good. And I have got other friends. Well, I've got friends all over the world that are cosplayers. Some of them will do commissions because I'm so small. Like, I fit into children's clothes. This is a children's onesie, and then I said basically exactly where all the hearts needed to go to make sure it was exactly where Margot's got them. It's really difficult to just sort of like go, right, okay, I'm gonna get this, because I'm so small and short. So sometimes I get away with Disney Shop, and that's pretty awesome because they got some sweet costumes. I know some people are going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe you buy few cosplays, but sometimes I have to. So
You know what's
you
quite
know,
funny is we actually said that it was the last stream, and obviously you guys were here last stream in the chat while I was talking to the
yeah,
wonderful Crappy Pun Master. He buys all of his cosplays. He commissions everything. We were just saying like there
yeah,
shouldn't be a taboo on it, really, should there? There should just be,
definitely not.
if you can't and you'd rather someone else build it for you, the whole, as long as you credit that person, obviously you can't. There's no,
Definitely,
crediting the Disney. The Disney shop, you're like, that's a different thing.
yeah,
But I'm talking like if someone's specific, like commission.
yeah,
Let's say you commissioned myself to make you a Harley hammer or something. You could be like, here's
yeah.
my Harley hammer. It was made by this guy. That kind of thing. I like that.
Exactly. And when people come up to you and they go, "Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Where did you get that?" And I'm like, "I didn't get that. I made it." And they're like, "No way. What's it made out of?" And then you get to have a discussion then as well. And they're
That's what I
like,
love
"Oh,
about
could
that.
I have one?" So yeah.
I like that. I like that. Out of all the cosplays you have, Little Vamp,
Yeah.
what's your favorite?
My favorite is my first run as Harley wearing is Harley because it's Harley. I have got other cosplays that I've done. I've done lots of different characters. It's just I got lots of variants of Harley because I love it so much. My first attempt at doing the Birds of Prey caution tape jacket, where she's got like it's kind of like confetti, and I would grab it to show you, but it is very fragile.
Is it
And
buried and fragile?
yeah, but I got to meet Margot Robbie in it.
Oh,
And
that's awesome.
when I was heading over to the place to meet the cast, this woman, very excitedly, I wasn't even in full cosplay, came over and was like, "Oh my goodness, I'm really sorry, but can I have a picture?" And I was a bit like, wait, what? She was like, "Can I have a picture with you, please?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, no problem." So I had a picture with it. She thought I was Margot Robbie.
Oh,
And I was like, what the heck? Because I was right under the Birds of Prey sign because we were going to the premiere in London.
oh,
And
nice.
she was freaking out. And as soon as she'd had the picture, she was on the phone saying that she'd met Margot Robbie. And I was like, what the heck?
Oh my
And
god.
then later on, when we were waiting for they had a yellow carpet, not a red one.
Oh, nice. I like that.
Security yeah. Security came up to me and they were going, "Miss Margot, what are you doing here? What are you doing here?" I was like, "Wait, what? You shouldn't be here. Why are you here?" And then he was like radioing people. I was like, I'm not Margot Robbie. I'm not that good, am I? What?
I love
So when
that.
I met her, I said, "Have I done you justice with the costume?" Bearing in mind, all we'd had was a trailer, so that's all I had to work on. And she said, "You did me more than justice." And I got that on film. And she said, "I can't get over how accurate it is," and it just made my day. She was such a lovely person.
I love
It
that.
was epic.
That's
Yeah.
literally one of the most hot. That's like I love all the wholesome stories that we get on this stream. We should change this stream to like instead of the Iron Warrior cosplay Q&A, like just be called like the Iron Warrior cosplay wholesome stories stream. Just like
Yeah.
it's always the wholesome stories. I love that. We have had, by the way, while you were talking about your Birds of Prey in London, we've had a hydrate. We've had a redeem a hydrate.
Okay.
So if I'm not gonna lie. If this was like an actual full-on drinking stream, we'd be hammered by now.
I know, right? Hail
Absolutely.
hydrate.
Hail hydrate. I love that. I love that. Out of like all the cosplays that you've done, obviously to date,
Yeah.
not the ones that you haven't done yet, obviously, all the ones that you've fully done, worn and completed and everything. What's the
Yeah.
most expensive one you've made?
Ooh. Probably. No, I wouldn't say it's Harley. I think it would be Laura.
You
Yeah,
need,
I think
you
it's
need to you
Laura.
need to grab your hammer and give him a donk on the head.
I know I do. Yeah, I think Laura from Logan again, Daphne Keen's portrayal of X-23 as a little girl, amazing. Because I got her actual sunglasses, and from the designer, I didn't know this at the time, but after I bought them and spent a considerable amount of money on a pair of children's sunglasses, She said, by the way, I'm the designer of those. And she sent me the blueprints and everything as well. So I want to get that framed. I got it all like bundled up, ready for when we move out eventually and stuff. And I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. So yeah, that, because I had to get them. I got the exact jacket that she wears. I had to get that imported. We got the t-shirt designed. Van designed it, and then we got that made. And then Doc Martens I already had, and luckily they were the exact color. But yeah, that was my most expensive one to date so far.
Oh, yeah,
Purely because of the
that so
sunglasses.
far. I like that so
Yeah.
far. It's like, because I'm not done yet. Also,
No.
I'd like to give a big shout out to Diabolical Props, who just converted his Prime Gaming sub to a Tier 1 sub. Thank you so much, Diabolical Props. You're an absolute legend. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
I'll ask you the same question again then, but instead of the most expensive, what's your cheapest? What's the sort of, you've literally
Cheapest.
just, like, a singular item that you already had that just happened to be pretty close to what you needed, sort of the cheapest cosplay you've put together?
Let me think. Oh, it probably was Suki, my first one, because it was just like a t-shirt and shoes and like, I don't know what you'd call it. It's like a half apron, like.
Oh, yeah, like
I don't-
like
you know what I
servers
mean?
would have. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, and like that was it, kind of thing. I just put a bit of blood. That was it, and that was her. I did have a bottle of True Blood, and at the time they weren't expensive. Now you can't get them for love nor money, and I wish to God I kept at least one of them, because I had it in the exact box as if it was imported from Japan.
Oh, I got you.
It was so cool, but I drank them, and I took them into work, and they were like, "What is that?" And I was like, "It's blood." And okay, because I used to wear like blood vials and things like that. Yeah, I'm a proper vamp.
I love that. That's great.
And they were like, okay. I was like, do you want to try some? And they were like, no. I was like, don't be such babies. They're just blood orange flavor pop. Okay. I was trying to be spooky, but you ruined it. So.
I love that. Out of all the events that you've done now, like all the events that you've done since you've been cosplaying, if I had to ask you what your favourite, like, one convention that you've done is, what would you say your absolute number one favourite con that you've been to?
Oh, that's a hard question.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of hoping it would be a little bit, because, like, you've been to so many, and it's just, you probably have a list longer than my arm.
Oh man, I've got like a list of top 3.
Oh, you could do a top 3 if you like. That's not a problem. You could do a top 3 if it's that,
Yeah.
Because you've been to a fair
I don't know. I don't know what order I'd put them in, because they were all so different and they were special for different reasons.
How about this? How about in no particular order?
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
And then just say them so they're all the same.
Okay. So, Tattoo Con, the last one before the pandemic.
Yeah.
That was one of my all-time favorites, because one of the tattoo artists had spotted us from last year when I was dressed as Laura, and he was literally in the middle of tattooing a guy's leg, and he stopped mid-tattooing, was like, wait, I've been trying to find you all weekend. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry, what have I done, And he was like, no, I want to give you this. And he gave me a drawing of me as Laura, and I was like, oh. And I was like, I give him a big cut, and I was like, thank you so much. He said I was just blown away because I had the claws and a foot claw and everything. And I was really hoping you'd be there this year. And we had a picture together. It was really, really nice. It was lovely.
I love that.
So the other one, Liverpool Con, was really, really good. That had a lot of fun highlights for me, because it was around Christmas time. I went as Winter Elsa from Frozen. Um, and then the second day I went as Laura. But when I was Elsa, I kid you not, I literally had a little girl climb up onto me, put her arms around me and going, Elsa! She wouldn't let go. She would not let go. And I was like, oh my gosh, you're so sweet. And she was with her Nana. And her Nana was like, come on now, you gotta let. She was like, no, no, it's Elsa. I was like, oh my God. And the wheelchair didn't make a difference to her at all. As far as she was concerned, I was Elsa. But then I saw her the second day as Laura, and she was literally hiding behind her Nana's legs. And
See,
I was like,
that's the reaction I get, you see. That's the reaction I get. They like kids run away and cry. They don't come over and hug me.
yeah. And then the last one, which is probably my number one, is Walker Stalker, the first one in London, because I got to meet Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who plays Stephen in Walking Dead. I came up with a backstory and a character. I made my own character. I made Van into a character, and at the time it fitted in with the storyline, and I got to pitch that to him. I was sneaky because it was like hundreds of pounds to meet him, and I've got savvy with it, but I don't know how it's going to work now with the pandemic, so I'm going to have to like adjust. But we do like sash cam. I probably shouldn't say this in case people see it.
The infamous and secretive sash cam.
Yeah, so basically everything that I could see was being filmed, and we went over to his area, and there was loads of people already queuing, and I just said to like the attendants there, I was like, "Are you doing on the day sales?" Because they did that for the majority of the actors and stuff there, and they're like, "No, he's completely sold out, you know."
Oh, man.
Sorry, type thing. And I was like, oh no. She said, however, if you go over there in like 10 minutes, you may see someone that you want to see. Okay, I must go now. And then she went away, and I was like, oh my gosh. So we headed to where she said we should go, and there he was. He was surrounded by people, and I don't know what possessed me, but I just went, Jeffrey! And oh my God, and it was early as well. People were still setting up, and he turned around, and I went, "Can I have a touch?" And he went, "Of course you can, darling." He didn't have a clue what it was, but I had my arms out like that. I couldn't even explain what a touch was because I was so gobsmacked that he was touching me. He nearly scalded me with his coffee. Because he was holding it in one hand and touching me. He smelt divine, and I didn't want to let go of that. So, yeah, he was amazing. And I got it on camera, him saying, I am his daughter. And that was my character, his daughter. And I was like, yes! And I said to Van, did we get that? And he was like, yeah. I was like, oh my God!
I love that. That's sick. Holy crap.
Yeah, so those are my favourites.
God, the fair play. The amount of people you have met is pretty mad. It is pretty mad.
It's because I'm really cheeky. What I do instead of queuing or whatever, I'll wait and see if I can see people walking around, and I'll go, oh, hi, yeah, hi, and I'll be really cute and everything, and I'll go, can I have a cutch? And a lot of people don't know what a cutch is, and then you've got to explain what it is, then they've got to stop and talk to you. It was like, I can't remember the name of the guy, but one of the main guys from The Boys, the TV, who was it? Carl Urban. He was going into the green room. We had just done a panel, and it was right by our like little spot, Christmas time, you know, the Grinch was there and different things. And I saw him, and I was like, right, I've got to say hello to him. So, and he was surrounded by people as well, and I was like, I don't care, I'm going to go and say hello to him. So I went over to him, and I went, hiya, can I have a cutch, please? And he said, sorry? I said, can I have a cutch, please? he said, "What do you want to do with my crotch?" And I went, "Oh no. Nothing with that
You should
at all."
change it to a hug or a cuddle so that more celebrities understand
No,
you.
because it was even more funny because then I explained that it was Welsh slang for a hug, and he went, "All right, okay, yeah, that's cool, no problem." But he said, "Still, explain to me, what do you want to do with my crotch?" And I was like, "Oh my god,
Oh, for God's sake!
I'm
I love
going
that.
now. Thank you for the catch. Okay, bye." Oh dear. Oh, and the
Oh,
Punisher come in to me off the stage because I asked him a question whether he would take up the mantle of being Wolverine if ever he was asked. What's his flipping name? John Burtnell, is it? Forgive me if I got that wrong. From the Netflix series.
yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
was such a sweetheart. And he basically said yes. And I was like, yes.
He's pretty
And
badass.
he said, "I'm going to come down." And, well, he said for me to go up. And I said, "I can't.
Yeah.
There's stairs. I can't." He said, "Right." And he just jumped off it, run through the entire crowd, give me a massive clutch. And I said, "You do know you're the best Punisher I've ever seen." And he was like, "Oh my goodness, thank you so much for saying that." And
He's a pretty
I had
badass
candy
Punisher.
canes with me, and they were kind of attached to my belt. And I was like, "You have a candy cane." He was like, "I can have one of those." I said, "You can have as many as you want." And he's like, "Oh, yay." And then went back on the thing. Oh, it was awesome. So good. So, so good. And it's really nice when you get to see that they're just people, not
Yeah, yeah.
not all celebrities are there just to get money off you.
No,
And
no,
they
of course.
actually like the interaction. And I think a lot of them resent the fact that they're with their agent or whatever, and they're saying, "Right, you got to put a price up for this, a price up for that." Whereas really, they just want the interaction with the fans. And that's where I go. And that's what I just tend to do, is just go up and say, "Can I have a clutch?" And the majority of people don't know what it is.
Just
So
be like Sash, Celebrity Hunter.
yeah. Oh, I've got one more thing which was absolutely hysterical, but at the time scared me witless. John Barrowman basically attacked me.
I remember this
Uh,
one. I remember this one.
yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh. He was running away from his security guards because he didn't want to go where they were going. He was happy to be wherever he was doing, and he went effing amazing. Oh, what a great Harley Quinn! And I jumped out of my skin, and because he like put his hand on my shoulder or something, and he came running back. Then people are chasing him, mind. He came running back. He said, "I'm so sorry, sweets, but you just look so effing amazing." Give me a huge clutch and run the other way again. So yeah.
That's. Also, Pinkthorn in chat just said Barrowman and shakes fist like Barrowman
Yeah.
as he's running away. He is absolutely
Yeah.
crazy though. John Barrowman is
He
crazy.
is. He
Honestly,
is.
he's absolutely crazy.
He's a legend.
I would definitely like to ask you this one, which is, what would your advice be for somebody who's just like starting off, just gotten into cosplay? Someone who's completely
My
fresh into it.
my advice would be to I'm trying to think like how I sort of really got into it, because when I first started, I didn't know there was a whole like movement, if you will. I thought it was just me being weird. Would be just to find people with the same sort of mindset as yourself, and there's a lot of people out there, and just putting yourself out there, and just I think what they'll find is, even if they can't make a particular thing, or they can't do a particular character because of XYZ, chances are there's going to be someone out there that would be willing to help. And I would just say just to be open to discussing with people, because the amount of disabled people that have come up to me, and because they've seen me going around as all sorts. I've been Misty from Pokemon. I've been Ariel from The Little Mermaid. I've been several Harley Quinns. I've been Bo Peep all sorts of things. They said I didn't realize we could do this. I didn't think it was for us. Now that makes me feel really sad because that I don't want anyone ever to feel excluded ever, not just for disability, for anything.
Any reason in general, exactly.
Yeah. So like when I'm on Twitter, I'm always looking around, and a few people, someone from Canada contacted me not so long ago, and they said, "Sorry to bother you, but I just wanted to say you've inspired me, and I'm going to start cosplaying." And I was like, "Oh, yay!" And I said, you don't have to wait just to see me. You can do it. Anybody can do it. And if someone says to you, "Oh, do you know what? Why the heck are you doing that? Why are you fancy dressing when you're like over 20?" That's the biggest bugbear. I hate that when either small-minded individuals, I would say, consider it as fancy dress for adults.
That's always one that bugs Ranger of Creek cosplay as well. He like both. I think everyone like who cosplays hates the fact that people call it fancy dress.
Yeah, and they think it's weird, and they're like, "Oh well, why are you doing it for? You're not getting paid for it." Well, no, I'm doing it because I enjoy it, and I'm representing my favorite character. That's kind of it, and bonding with people, and or it'll go completely down the other road, and people will instantly think that it's something that's not very nice and perverted, and I hate that as well. And there's subsections, isn't there?
Yeah, there's always that sort of the other list, if you will, like of.
Yeah, but it's whenever particularly when I was just starting out, my parents in particular were like, "When are you gonna grow up?" And I was like, "Never, ever. No, I'm perfectly fine. I So I just, and I've heard that off a lot of people in the public. "Oh, I'm too scared to do it because my friends won't do it with me," and then they'll laugh at me, and I'll go, "Right, make sure you go into a con that I'm there, and they certainly won't laugh at you then, because I've got this hammer here, I've got a baseball bat, everything. It's all good."
We have had from Zug in the chat there, we've had a hydrate, and while we hydrate, I was going to read some stuff out for you. We've got Ranger of Creek said, and then they hold a fancy dress event and you show up in full cosplay just to prove a point. It's like,
yes.
I like that. And this one's really good. Growing old is mandatory. Growing up is optional. That's a good one. Nobody wants to grow up. Yeah, exactly. Miss T cosplay. No one wants to grow up. I like that. Exactly.
No.
Well, this one, I think I mentioned this one to you pre-stream, just so you could just sort of load the pistol, if you will. But what's your funniest cosplay stories? Like what sort of something that, I mean, you've already told a few funny ones right now, especially with John Barrowman and stuff like that. What would you say your funniest cosplay story is? Like the most like eye-wateringly hilarious thing that's happened to you at a con? It doesn't have to involve a celebrity, but in general, like the funniest story you've had happen to you.
Yeah, I've definitely got one which will stay with me forever. And basically, we just come from a convention, and we hadn't eaten all day. I'm vegan as well, so I'm the awkward one of the group. And they just so happened to have a KFC and a McDonald's and all this not far away. And KFC had just introduced this vegan burger, and I was like, "Okay, I'll have that. That's fine." So I went to get my vegan burger, ordered it all and everything. Oh my goodness me. I've never had this reaction in my life. It was myself and Van Wolf, and I was Harley, and he was the Penguin. And the server went to give me my bag, went and started to try and climb, I kid you not, into the deep fat fryer. I was like, whoa, what are you doing? And she was like, get away. And I was like, look, this isn't real. There's been a convention across the road. I just want my food. That's literally all I want. This went on for about 20 minutes.
Oh, good
So my
God.
food is now ice cold. And I was like, and all the manager came out and all the staff came out and they were just laughing at this woman that was terrified to go anywhere near myself or Van. And I was like, can someone just give me my food, please? Because this is ridiculous. Now, what the heck? I have never, ever seen a reaction like that in my lifetime. I don't understand it. To this day, I don't. And part of us wanted to just keep going back and forth, ordering different things. But yeah, that's a funny, twisted, bit mental one. Another one which will always stick in my mind, purely because it was so innocent, but wrong, kind of in the same vein. We were going in a lift, and Van was Beast from X-Men.
I remember
So
his
he was,
Beast from X-Men. I love that one.
yeah. So he was blue from head to toe, and oh god, we were in there with the little boy and his mum, and the little boy was clearly impressed and wanted to speak to Van, but he went to his mum. He went, Mum, that man there, he's blue. And the mother, without making any eye contact to either of us, I don't even know where I was. I think I was some sort of Sith. She said, yes, we come in many colours of the rainbow.
Oh.
I burst out laughing because I couldn't keep it together. I was like, you've now taught your son there are people out there that are blue.
Yep. Why not?
So,
Why not? I mean,
oh dear,
I love that.
I couldn't stop laughing. I get into fits of hysteria when I'm really, really laughing. So I had to take a breather then outside of the lift because I was just gone. I was like, instead of saying, yes, look, they're cosplaying, look how wonderful. Now that child thinks there's blue people live on Earth.
He probably thinks that song "I'm Blue" is real now, so that's good.
Yes, yes.
That's good. If I had to ask you then, out of like all the people you know, obviously there's a bunch in chat that you know. There's a few obviously you know from Cardiff, and obviously myself from like the middle of nowhere, and all your cosplay friends and stuff like that. Do you have a favorite cosplayer, like a friend of yours, or even a celebrity cosplayer that you might know? You know, like for example, Yaya Han or anyone like that, or my personal one is Adam Savage, and you know, is there anyone like Kamui Cosplay, for example? I don't know.
I don't have a celebrity one, but excluding my own partner, it would be Miss T Cosplay because she's my wifey and she's awesome.
Yo, wifey, Miss T Cosplay. I love that.
Yeah,
She's in chat.
yeah.
You watch now. It's gonna be so awesome. She's gonna be like,
She's
oh my God.
favorite.
That's so cute. I love that. I love that. If you had to pick, would you prefer like your main source of like cosplay production? Would you prefer to make your own cosplays or to buy them?
Gosh, if I had the ability to make them all the way, 100%. Because I don't, I guess is buying them. But what I always do is I don't just buy stuff off the rack. I always examine it, and if I think nope, that's wrong, that's not the right color, that's this, that's that, I'll change it all to make sure it is as accurate as possible. And I never thought I had OCD until cosplay because I'm a Virgo as well, so that might be something to do with it. But I will not go out in cosplay if I don't feel I'm as accurate as I possibly can get it. And that's weird because, like, you know, you don't have to be like that. That's just my personality, my way of doing it. I love the fact that people come up with creative different spins on things. I think that's flipping awesome. But for me, is all about the accuracy and stuff. And
Because
if I can't
actually,
do
funny
that,
thing, one of the questions I actually have is how important is accuracy to you when it comes to cosplay in general? And clearly, it's something that's quite important to you. Then, is it?
yeah, I'd say is the most important aspect of it for me. And that's not for everyone. I'm not speaking for everyone. I'm
No,
not
no, no. Of course,
preaching
well,
or
no. That's the thing. I mean, this cosplay Q and A is to you specifically, like your thoughts on everything.
yeah,
That's why.
yeah. Because I'll even go to the lengths of dyeing my hair the color of the characters rather than wearing a wig and things like that, you know. So yeah, because wigs are awesome, but they can suck and they're really heavy.
Yeah, yeah, I get
So
you, I get you. Well, that's dedication. I like that. We have some questions from the chat.
go for it.
Caxor, we have a question to Vamp. Do you have any Warhammer 40k cosplay plans?
I don't, I'm afraid. No, at the moment, I'm completely skint, if I'm honest. So I once the pandemic and stuff has calmed down and things, my next one I want to work on is a Mandalorian cosplay.
Yeah, there's going to be
Yeah.
so many Mandalorians about. There's going to be. That's all I've seen on a bunch of different pages I follow is Mandalorian stuff. It's great.
But what I want to do is incorporate my chair into it because that's one thing I haven't done yet.
Oh,
I want to
really?
make it either into a speeder or into his ship. How I would do that, I'm not sure.
That would be
But
sick.
I know, right? And like I've got a few. I'm obsessed with Mandalorian and Grogu. I've got so many different Grogu things, and I've been thinking like, how could I get a Grogu that would follow me and this and that. I know that they just brought out one which he literally levitates like he does in the show and follows you, and I was like, oh my goodness me, that's what I needed. But then I thought, no, I can't do that because if I do that, some little kid's going to come over and they're going to be like, oh, baby Yoda, and just run away with it. So I'm going to have to think about how I'm going to do it.
You're gonna have to cable tie Baby Yoda to something and make sure no kid can take him away. We have another question for you from. We have questions piling in, by the way. We also have a hydrate. So while I ask you this one, we can have a bit of an old hydrate there.
Yeah, definitely.
From Diabolical Props, I'm Warrior Cosplay and Heroes of Geek. This may have already been asked, but do you either have an example of a if I could do it differently, knowing what I know now moment regarding cosplay? Like, for example, knowing what you know now, is there anything you would have done differently? I like that. That is a hell of a question, by the way, Diabolical Props. I love that.
Yeah, that's a
If
really
you could
good
do it
question.
differently, knowing what you know now,
Yeah,
that kind of
do you know
moment in
what?
cosplay, I like that.
I think I would. I've got a really big Harley hammer, much bigger than the small one you can see behind me. We'll try and show it now.
Ah, nice big hammer there.
Can you see it? That's I've had that for a good while now, but it's really heavy and it's really hard for me to hold and to pose with and stuff. So I would probably, if I had to redo anything, it would be that. Despite how awesome it looks, and it's got like little slogans on it and blood dripping down it, and it's meant to look like real wood and stuff. I'd make it lighter, and I may make it even into like a mini mallet. Yeah, just because it's a difficult thing to transport around in a wheelchair anyway, and it's got a bit of battle damage now anyway, which kind of adds to it, and
I was going to say
fine.
the battle damage would probably add more to it.
Yeah, but that's what I'd probably change, and maybe the claws with Laura, just make them a bit more robust, and my foot claw, because whenever I wear the foot claw, I just end up like bashing into people, and then they knock it off, and it took ages to cast and everything, and there's like a foot plate which goes underneath my foot, so it looks like it's coming out of my shoe entirely, and so many people have knocked it. It's Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't hurt anyone, but I don't want to lose it more than anything. So, yeah, I'd probably look at doing that slightly differently next time.
Well, I'm looking at this now with the amount of questions coming in. We have one.
Yeah.
This one's quite interesting. This one is. I was just reading it now, so I
Yeah.
could read it properly when I get out. But I'm probably going to screw this up. But have you noticed the difference? Is kind of a European versus North America split, where Europe has a hard-on accuracy, where sort of original cosplays or interpretations are more common in North America. Would you say like it's
Um,
more of an accuracy versus, as you say, original cosplays?
where are they saying that accuracy is more important?
They're
Here,
saying,
is it?
have you noticed the difference, like in a European versus North America split, where Europe goes hard on with the accuracy, whereas sort of North America goes on the sort of original cosplay interpretations are more common. So they'll
Okay.
make their own original stuff and they sort of interpret it instead of actually making it like dead on accurate. That's a hell of a question. Thank you so much for that
Yeah, it
question.
is. It is a thinker. I haven't been to any cons abroad, so I can't say from personal experience. However, I've got cosplayers from America and Canada, and I know for a fact my one friend that I'm really close to, she likes to make it as completely out there as possible, but still keep it so that you know who the character is. So she cosplays a lot of the Gorillas characters, the band, the
Yeah,
Gorillas.
yeah, I love that band.
Um,
Hell of a band.
yeah, and she's flipping epic. She's extremely creative, and she just goes for it, and to the point where she'll black out her teeth, but then she'll do something completely different, which isn't anything to do with the gorillas. But you can tell that it is the gorillas because of the blacked out teeth, or she might have a fake cigarette or something like that. And she'll have the music playing as well, so you know. But at the same time, she very much likes to put her own spin on things.
Yeah.
So, with regards to the country as a whole, I don't think I can really comment because I haven't seen it, but what I have seen, I mean, like when you see highlights of San Diego Comic Con and stuff, they cosplay flipping heck is another level,
Yeah.
in my opinion. And it's like a dream to eventually go there one day if I
Oh,
could get
same.
over that.
Same.
It's so crammed and crowded. Um, but yeah, I would say America in general, if you go in by the likes of San Diego Comic Con and things like that, they really go for it because of the various cosplay competitions, a proper, really meaty prizes and
Oh,
stuff.
yeah. Yeah.
You
It's
you you got to be
huge.
top notch. Whereas with us, we kind of do it for fun as well. I mean, I cosplay just to go to the cinema. Sometimes I cosplay just to go to the shop. It's because I like it, and I think because I know me, I'm someone else. So
I like
yeah,
that. Casual Props just said maybe Americans are just poor and can't afford accurate cosplays. Read in stuck-up French accent, preferably. Maybe Americans are too poor and they cannot afford accurate cosplays. No, that was so bad. That was so bad.
no, I liked it. I liked it.
I love that. Tack Attack has given us a hell of a question as well.
Hey.
If money sourcing and time was no object, what is
Yeah.
Vamp's dream cosplay that she's yet to do?
Oh man, he knows what I'm gonna say, and he's gonna laugh out loud because he flipping hates it. But it would be a full blown Captain Marvel costume. There you go, Tom. It would
Captain
be
Marvel.
full blown with like the mohawk, with the eyes turning on and stuff, and then it would convert into another costume. Yeah, that would be if there was no limit, no nothing. Captain Marvel, baby. I know you hate it, but I don't care.
I like that. I like that. Captain Marvel though is pretty badass. I did enjoy that film.
Oh
I did
yay,
enjoy Captain
good.
Marvel. I did enjoy
I
Captain.
love it. Love it, love it, love it.
Are you more of a solo cosplayer? Would you say, or are you more of a big group cosplayer? What would you prefer? Are you more of a kind of I will obviously I know I say solo cosplay. I know you go around with your partner and stuff. I know that's something you guys do, but obviously sometimes you cosplay as separate things as well, even though you're going around together. But
Yeah.
do you prefer cosplaying a solo as you doing a cosplay by yourself, or do you prefer being in a big group of people?
I wouldn't say I prefer a big group of people, but we tend to do cosplay as a group of four, and that works really well for us because we're such good friends anyway. And shout out to Tac Tac and Miss T Cosplay because they are our cosplay buddies. And yeah, I wouldn't like doing it completely solo at all because I think no matter how much I come across as like bubbly, and I do love speaking to people and stuff, but with the pandemic and stuff, and I do have anxiety, particularly when I can't get down an aisle and people don't move and stuff like that.
Hmm.
I find it easier when you're with a group. I wouldn't want a massive group because that would put me off. But you can have like spotters. Like this is gonna sound ridiculous, right? But I love Harley and Joker, and I always will. Joker is my all-time favorite character, and you can blame my dad for that because he introduced me to Jack Nicholson's Joker, and
Oh,
I
Jack
fell
Nicholson's Joker's so good though. It's
yeah,
so
yeah.
good. It's so good.
And yet, when I go out in cosplay, he's like, "Are you still doing that seriously?" And I'm like, "Dude, you made me the geek. You showed me all the geeky stuff, and now you're moaning about it. So shut up."
I
But
like that.
I love the Joker and I love Harley, and yet I am deathly afraid of clowns. Like really, really, really bad. Really phobic of it. So
Are you talking
tack
like,
attack and
your classic circus clowns with like the red nose and the fluffy hair? Or are you talking like even if you were the Joker kind of.
oh no, the Joker's fine.
Yeah.
Joker and Harley's fine. Anything else?
Anything
They're a
else, like
clown.
actual like full on circus clowns. Like for It, for
Yeah.
example.
Oh my god, I couldn't go anywhere near it.
Yeah.
So Misty cosplay and Tac Tac would like warn me if they'd spotted one, because I literally I can't even express how phobic I am of them. I would just go into meltdown. Um, and I have to like run the other way. I can't be anywhere
Yeah.
near them. And I
Literally
remember we had
oh
to,
look, it's a clown. Nope.
yeah, yeah. I remember we had to judge a cosplay competition once,
Oh
and
my
one of the
god.
entries.
I'm
What
so sorry to interrupt you, but we have just had a raid from the BB Prop Show. So another Twitch channel has just raided us, and they're the BB Prop Show. They're
Woohoo!
very good friends of mine. They've just raided us. Oh my god, 17 people. Holy crap. Thank you so much for the raid.
Yay!
Oh my god, that's so cool.
Ah,
Thank you so much. Welcome to the Raiders, everyone who's just joined us. If you haven't joined us before, I am Iron Warrior Cosplay, and this is the Iron Warrior Cosplay live Twitch stream. This particular segment I'm doing is called the Iron Warrior Cosplay Q&A, and my lovely guest tonight is Little Vamp of the Heroes of Geek.
hi
And
everyone.
I am blown away. This is absolutely fantastic. Thank you so
Woohoo!
much for the raid. You guys, how was your stream? Was your stream good? I hope you guys had an amazing time on the BB Prop Show. Diabolical props. Yes, let's go. Fantastic. I love that. We have had a hydrate from Barry the Cactus, so let's have a hydrate. We'll take a small break here, I think, from just reeling back from that raid that just happened from the BB Prop Show. Thank you so much. Welcome, Raiders. If you guys don't know who I am, obviously I'm Iron Warrior Cosplay. My links will be available in the chat. My mods will throw them up there. Also, the link tree to the wonderful Little Vamp of Heroes of Geek Cosplay are also in the chat as well. Look at all these emotes. I see Shrek. That's fantastic. Absolutely. Thank you so much for the raid. We're on 42 viewers. This is fantastic. Iron Within. I love that. I love that. That's so cool. Oh, thank you so much. Alice just said, his voice is so cool. I like that. That's fantastic. Thank you so much.
That's so nice.
So I do apologise. For that. I had to interrupt you there. But sorry, carry on. My apologies there. That was fantastic. What a raid. What a raid. I am blown away. I'm blown away. Sorry.
I was just going to say that we had to judge a competition once, and there was an H cosplayer, and I literally couldn't look at them. And I said, I'm sure your cosplay is amazing, but I'm going to have to defer to my partner here to judge, because I'm deathly afraid of you. So I spent the entire time with my head down on the table because I couldn't look at them, and because they were doing a whole thing with the balloon, and just thinking about it is like, I can't even see clowns in magazines or a poster or anything. And I've got an 8-year-old nephew, and guaranteed every Halloween it'll be some form of clown because he knows how much I hate it. And I'm like, dude,
what a
you
legend.
suck.
What a little legend. Absolutely. Honestly, I tell you what though, I think I am going to pop my Krieg helmet off. I'm going to pop my hat back on. It is absolutely cold now. My ears are a bit cold, so I'm going to pop my beanie back on. Let's get my helmet back on top of there. There we go. Oh, that was fantastic. Kenus Cosplay, thank you so much for the 100 bits. Welcome. In terms of your favourite memory at a convention, sort of, you've told us your funniest story. Your favourite memory at a convention, something doesn't have to be wholesome, but usually, I'm not going to lie, the amount of times I've asked this question, it's been one of these incredibly wholesome streams. But you've told us so many like lovely memories of yours, things that really stick with you. What would you say your most sort of frontal like memory is of like a convention that you've done?
Okay. I think it would be taking my nephew to his first con that he would remember, because we took him to one when he was 6 months old, and obviously he couldn't remember that. We then took him to one when he was turning 3, and I have never seen so much magic in a little person's eyes. Oh my goodness. He was holding my hand, and he likes Doctor Who, he likes Transformers, he likes Marvel. He's a proper geek. You know, my brother's done me proud, and I influence him as much as I can as well. And he was like, Auntie Sasha, he's like, yes, I'm going to be a stormtrooper. I was like, that's awesome. So he was going around, and we didn't even prompt him to do this. My brother's not a cosplayer, but it was the first and only time I've ever seen him cosplay, purely for Leo, who's my nephew, as the Green Power Ranger.
Oh, hell yeah. Green Power Ranger.
Yeah. So my little nephew was going along, and he would just stop people and go, rebel scum. And I was like, oh my God. And there was a Captain America. And they were having like a proper battle. And he was like, I will get you. And at the time, we had to get back on a bus. We didn't have a car back then, because it was a little while ago now, like he's 8 now. And I didn't get out of cosplay, so I was a different Harley, and he was the Stormtrooper. My brother, the second he got a chance to get back into normal clothes, he did. So we're waiting at the bus stop. We get on the bus, and again, I kid you not, he gets on. Now, this is a 3-year-old kid dressed as a stormtrooper, looking flipping awesome. He goes to the person behind him, would you like to see who I really am? And I'm like, Leo, what are you doing? And he said, well, I can show him my mask. He's just lush. He's so amazing. And he always wants to know when he can go to another convention and stuff, because he just loves it. And I know he's going to be like me when he's older, because he just loves it.
Just a full-on cosplay nerd. Yeah, that's what we want. That's what we want. Genuinely, by the way, I would like to thank everyone for following. Also, the Crafty Dodo for the follow, and Diabolical Props for gifting a tier 1 sub to the community. Your first gifted sub to the channel Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I hope, let's see, Keslo, Keslo Maker, I hope you enjoy your tier 1 sub there. Welcome to the channel. Thank you so much. We are getting to that point now where we are at the end of the stream almost, but I have a few more questions to ask you. And I think
I'll try and be quick.
No, it's all right. Take your time. Also, we have a hydrate as well. My apologies. We have a hydrate as well.
Okay.
Kenus Cosplay with the Prime sub. Welcome. Thank you so much. You have been such a big supporter of my channel. Honestly, much love to you. Genuinely. Kenus Cosplay, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Holy crap. Sash, this is madness. Kenus Cosplay has just gifted 5 tier 1 subs to the Iron Warrior Cosplay community. Everyone who has just been given a tier 1 sub by Kenus Cosplay, please throw your shovels up in the chat. Throw your shovels up in the chat. Throw your shovels up in the chat. Thank you so much. Honestly, you're an absolute legend. Absolute legend. Thank you so much.
Aww.
It's absolutely wonderful. Such a wonderful person. Genuinely. You have no idea how much that means to me. Thank you so much. Throw your shovels up in the chat and thank the wonderful Kenus Cosplay for the 5 tier 1 subs. Genuinely. Holy crap. Thank you so much, Kenus Cosplay. And I still hope to hell that I'm getting your name right. Also, please follow Kenus Cosplay from the link that Dragonheart has just posted in the chat there. Thank you so much. This is madness, Sash. This is absolutely wonderful. This is madness. But, right, so, your favourite part of cosplay, your absolute number 1 favourite thing about cosplay, when you put on your cosplay and you go to a con, what's your, number 1 favourite thing about it?
I would have said putting the last bit of the cosplay on would be my favourite bit, because then I feel like, right, I'm ready, and I'm not me. I am the embodiment of this character. And full disclosure, I can't do voices, so whoever I am, they're going to be Welsh. So, don't even ask me to try and put on accents, because I can't do it. I think my number 1 thing as soon as I go in through the door is when people acknowledge who you are and they know which character you are. They don't even necessarily have to come up to you, just like a nod or a thumbs up or whatever. That just makes my day. It means you've done your job right. And that's my favorite thing. That and having pictures of children, not to sound creepy, nice pictures of children.
No, I get you. I like that. And I do apologise for having to stop every now and again, but this is absolutely mind-blowing, Sash. Pages Pooches has just resubscribed tier 1 for 3 months. I'm always here lurking behind casual props. Absolutely, I love you for that. Thank you so much. We have a level 3 hype train going, thanks to everyone who has gifted subs. Kenus Cosplay, Pages Pooches, thank you so much for the subscription. Diabolical Props, everyone who has gifted or just subscribed. We are now on a level 3 hype train. This is madness. Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone who has been coming to this stream on a regular basis. Whether you're a subscriber or not, just watching and coming to have fun at the stream is genuinely what I want the most from this, and I really hope you guys are enjoying. My second part to that question now, because it's a 2-parter. You've got your favourite part of cosplay, but what's your least favourite part of cosplay? As you said earlier, there's always a good side and a bad side to everything. There's always, like a yin-yang, like a positive and a negative, black and white, this sort of back and forward, left and right. There's always an opposite to it. So what's your sort of least favourite part of cosplay?
My least favourite part of cosplay is probably my inner saboteur that basically says, oh man, you look awful. Why the heck are you even trying? And this can be just when I finish my cosplay and we're getting ready to go in, and that's all I hear in my head is that I'm not good enough. People are going to laugh at you. They're not going to get it because you're in a wheelchair, and a lot of your characters not in a wheelchair. The amount of people that have asked me to be Oracle from Batman, and don't get me wrong, I've done it. I have done it.
I was going to say, you have actually done that one, haven't you?
Yeah.
I thought I remembered that one.
Yeah,
Yeah, oh, that's another thing. Professor X, flipping X,
Come on.
Xavier, just
Like,
because he's in a wheelchair.
yeah.
I mean, no.
No.
So then things like that, I'm like, really? That's what you see me as. You just see the wheelchair. You don't see the craft. You don't see the character. You don't see me. And then, but then I try and make that go away. And the second that someone comes up and says, "Oh, you look really cool," or "Can I have a picture?" or whatever, then I'm fine. I'm fine. But I always have that inner voice saying that I'm not good enough, no matter how much effort I put in, how much time or whatever. I always get that, and I think it's just part of me, and I'm trying to get over it, but it's still there at the moment.
Well, honestly, the fact that you're still going and you're just pushing through and just ignoring all of that is fantastic, and I genuinely think that's a fantastic thing you're doing. Genuinely, because I myself have, I think everyone in the chat could probably say that they've had, a lot of negativity in the whole cosplay side of things when they're doing their cosplays and stuff, and people can be quite shitty. But the fact that you haven't stopped and you're powering through it is absolutely fantastic. Also, we have quite a positive message here. Diabolical Props, you're an absolute legend. Thank you so much. Has just thrown 500 bits at my face and has just said, both of you, thank you for being you. I like that. That's incredibly
that's so
sweet.
lovely. Thank you.
Diabolical Props, you're an absolute legend. Thank you so much. Honestly,
Oh,
to everyone who has come to watch the Iron Warrior Cosplay Q&A today, and to everyone who has subscribed, gifted subs, and thrown bits towards the hype train, I genuinely say thank you so much. It genuinely means a lot. It helps keep me going. It helps keep the channel going, and it helps me get more guests on, like the wonderful little Vamp from Heroes of Geek. It's absolutely fantastic. My last question to you for the night is, where can we find you online?
oh gosh, you can find us everywhere under Heroes of Geek. So Twitter is at Heroes of Geek. Facebook is Heroes of Geek. Basically, every social media outlet, type in Heroes of Geek and it'll be us.
That's fantastic.
So,
Also, you yourself have your own personal Twitter as well, which is also in the link tree, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
Yeah,
thank you, Ranger Krieg. Brilliant. Ranger Krieg has just thrown that link tree up into the chat there, so people can go and follow.
Awesome.
That'd be fantastic.
Cool.
Make sure you go and follow the absolutely wonderful little Vamp of Heroes of Geek. And Zug with the 300 bits. Thank you so much, Zug. You're an absolute legend. Oh my god. Like, genuinely, you guys are just fantastic. The community that I have and all the friends that I've made through the cosplay community, yourself and Vanek included, is just absolutely fantastic. So I just want to say again, a massive thank you to Little Vamp of Heroes of Geek. Honestly, you've been absolutely wonderful. Genuinely, it's been so lovely having you on. I honestly, I've been really looking forward to this. And like right before the stream, she was saying like, "Oh, I'm a little bit nervous." It's like, nah, don't be. You'll be fine, honestly. And it's been absolutely wonderful. It's been absolutely wonderful.
I've really enjoyed it, and thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Honestly, I don't mind at all. Also, don't forget, Kenus Cosplay is streaming on Saturday. Please go give him a follow on Twitch. He's an absolutely massive supporter of me. He's just shows up, just shows up on stream. It's like, here, have some bits. I'm gonna go now. It's just like madness. I love it. It's absolutely fantastic. Here, have all of these tier 1 subs. I'm gonna go now. Bye. I love it. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much, honestly. We've had another hydrate, and while we hydrate, let's find someone to raid. So you know how the BB Prop Show jumped into our stream and 17 people came to the stream to say hi, and suddenly we had like 1 million more people watching us. We're going to go do the same. So if you guys obviously want to follow my social medias as well, they are in the stream. Also, join the Discord. I have a full Discord page. When you join, go to the Warhammer faction selector and pick yourself a faction to join, so you can join the many different factions that we have on the Discord there. So, is there anyone in particular you know on Twitch who is streaming right now that you would like to stream, or do you not mind if myself or the chat pick? Oh, never mind. We've just had... Diabolical Props has redeemed Guide the Raid, and Diabolical Props has chosen Solway Studios is streaming and painting Warhammer figurines. So let's go raid the wonderful Solway Studios. So let's go do that, shall we? So,
Yeah.
when we do a raid, by the way, make sure that all you new subs as well, throw your shovels up, and anyone who isn't a sub, caps lock Iron Within, which is absolutely fantastic. That's what we normally do. So let's go Solway Studios. Make sure I've spelt that right. Studios. I spelled that wrong. Studios. There we go. Solway Studios. I genuinely hope that you've all enjoyed this stream, and as much as I've enjoyed chatting to you, thank you so much. It's been absolutely fantastic. So I hope you guys are ready to raid. There are 28 viewers currently. Let's see how many raiders we can get for the lovely Solway Studios. 21 raiders. Let's do this. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Please stick around for the raid, and we'll see you all again soon. Bye for now. Thank you so much again.
Thank you. Bye, guys. Stay safe.
Yes, stay safe. Exactly. Stay safe. Thank you so much, and we'll see you all again soon. Bye for now.